Hello, kindergarten. It's me, Miss Pisani again. Back to do some more work and learning about how to write letters in a way that they're really clear and easily understood by the people you're sending them to. Letters are something we talked about. Lots of people send and receive all the time. And when we do that, there's a special way we do it. So, yesterday, when we talked about how letters send messages between two people or can be from groups. And we also did a little bit of writing about someone we really care about and what we like to do with them, because that could be somebody we might end up deciding to write a letter to, right? Today, we're going to look at how letters are set up, because they're set up in a very specific way when you write them in the right way. And so we're going to talk a little bit about that, and then we're going to think about how you might start and end your own letters. All right, so let's get started. Writing letters, how we write letters. So there's a specific structure. That's structure. It's called how they're set up and organized, right? When things are set up and organized, there's a certain way of doing things. And so we set them up in a special way so that we know who the letter is for, we know where the message is, and last, who it's from. Okay? So let's look at that letter that I wrote to my mom again. I'm going to read it again to you, but the first time I read it to you, I want you to be thinking about, what do you notice about how a letter is written, and how is this different from a story, right? So I read this book to you a couple days ago. You can think about that, or a different story you read earlier today or last night. And I want you to think about, how is this letter here different? Okay, so up at the top it says, "Dear Mom, I was reading the story, The Invisible String, for the K2 classes, and I was thinking about people I love and really care about. So I, of course, thought of you. There are so many things I love doing with you. Talking on the phone to catch up and know what's going on, swimming in the big waves at the beach on a sunny day, or taking a walk to the playground with Ella and Julie. It's been really different these last few weeks not being able to see you in person, and I miss you a lot. But I know the invisible string always keeps us connected together through love. Love, Tara." So, what do you think? How's this letter written differently than the way the book is set up? Yeah, a book kind of like, it has the title, and then the words go from one page to another page. Sometimes stories start with "once upon a time," and at the end of a story, sometimes, I know Ella always does this when we get to the end of the book and we close it. She goes, "The end." I don't hear any of that in this letter. It's different, isn't it? This letter starts with "Dear Mom," right? That's where I'm addressing the letter. That's how somebody reading this knows who this letter is for. Right up at the top in the first line it says, "Dear Mom." That's who this letter is for, and it says it right there. It's the first line. That's different from in a book, right? It's not like "Dear Miss Pisani." It's very different. And then there's all these words in the middle. What's that? Yeah, that's my writing, right? My writing where I'm telling her what it is I want her to know. Okay, so I put all that in the middle. And then at the end, here it says, "Love, Tara." That's what we call where I sign the letter, right? And then the person who gets it knows who it's from. And it's very clear. Even so, at the top, it says, "Dear Mom." And then I start a whole new part when I write my message. And when I'm finished with my message, I drop down again and I start another whole new part so that I can sign it. It's almost like they really want who it's to and who it's from to stand out. Right up at the top, right up at the bottom, and then in the middle, it's all the stuff I want you to know if I'm sending you a letter, right? So, now, I want you to try today, because yesterday we talked a little bit about how letters can be formal or informal, right? And so part of when they're formal or informal, you might address them and start them off in the beginning differently than you would if they were formal or informal, and it's the same way when you are ending them. So really, and you know what? I said I was going to do a word web. I don't think I'm going to do a word web, because today I need you to help me think about different ways we can start our letters. And really we call that when we're talking about letters, how do we address our letters, right? And how do we end our letters? How do we sign them? We call that one. So go ahead, and I want you to take a notebook and I want you to just write a line right down the middle. How do we start our letters and how do we end them? And it's almost like a way of like opening up a conversation, because a letter is a way of me to talk to you about something or whoever it is I'm writing the letter to. So we start them and we try to think of how we open up our conversation, right? And on my letter, I use this word here, dear. And that's a very common word we use with letters as a way to introduce or say, like, dear mom. It's almost saying like someone I really care about, or you are very important to me, Mom. You are very important to me, Ella. You are very important to me, Miss Pan. Right? Dear. I want you to think of some other ways you might want to start your letter to say hello. So hello would be another one if you were going to open up your letter. Could I start my letter and say, hello, Mom. I was reading the story, The Invisible String, for the K2 classes. Still sounds like a way she knows that I'm talking to her. I'm opening up the conversation. I'm opening up the message that I want her to hear, right? So dear is one, and hello would be another one. I want you to think of 1, 2, 3 more ways you could say hello to start and open your letter. Dear, dear Mom, hello, Mom. So write those down after, because I want to give you an example of how we can end or sign our letters, right? And so I know you guys, the way that I signed my letter was, what did I say? Yeah, I said love, and then I wrote my name, right? Oh, I think I'm going to even put a line here, because it's like, dear, blank, right? Love, as I say, love. Now, what would be some other ways we could say love? I know. I always sign my letters XOXO. Do you know what XOXO means? Hugs and kisses, hugs and kisses. So sometimes I do that quick when I want to just say, if I'm writing a letter to somebody, right? But now, look at these. If I'm saying love and XOXO, who am I writing a formal letter probably, or an informal letter? Something informal, right? To like a friend or somebody in my family, somebody who I really care a lot about. So your job is, now that we learned a little bit about what a letter looks like, we talked about how it's definitely different. The setup is definitely different than how we write letters. Than how we like read words in books. And even like directions that you find in like a Lego kit or something like that. It's got the dear mom, it tells you who it's for. There's the message in the middle, and then it drops down again and it signs the letter down at the bottom. Think about some other ways you could start your letter. Dear, hello. What would be other words you could say to get that letter rolling? What would be other ways you could sign it? Love, XOXO. Think of some others and we can share them tomorrow. Okay? All right. Have fun. Good luck. You can do it.